Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine and welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet. And here with me, as always, is Rachel.
Hello.
So today we're going to go visit the Badlands. They're both in North and South Dakota. And we're going to start off with the Badlands National Park in South Dakota. The park is located in White River Badlands, and the name comes from the Sioux Indians who called the area Mako-Shisha. Mako meaning land, Sisha meaning bad, because the area is just very dry, very difficult to traverse. So that's how it got that name.
So I'm just going to give you a few stats about this park. So it's 244,000 acres, and about 1 million people visit it every year. So it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
And then of that acreage, it's subdivided again into a wilderness area, which is about 64,000 acres. And it's also home to one of the largest mixed grasslands in the whole of the national park system.
You know, one of the most striking features of it is just this eerie landscape. It's almost like a moonscape. It's just full of pinnacles and canyons and buttes. These were just created by erosion as the rain started to cut through the rock layers on this flat floodplain. So the area itself is millions of years old, but that erosion kind of thing happened about 500,000 years ago. And the whole area is eroding about 1 inch per year. So it's still changing.
And in fact, I was reading that it's slated to live it'll be completely eroded in about 500,000 years.
Yeah.
Which would give it a total lifespan of 1 million years. But another cool thing about these formations, not just their starkness and their beauty, but they're also full of fossil deposits, but not dinosaurs like you'd find in some other areas. This one in particular is just a whole wealth of fossils from the age of the mammals.
It's also just a paradise for geologists as well. You know, when you look at the rocks, they're all different colors, and each color represents a different age, you could say, in geology. Just for an example, you know, the light-colored rocks that you kind of see at the top of these pinnacles, those are Sharp's Formation. These were deposited about 28 million years ago by wind and water as the climate started to dry and cool in this part of the world.
This park has a lot of rocks, right?
Uh-huh.
But it also has some wildlife. So you have some interesting animals like pronghorn sheep, American bison, coyotes, bobcats, snakes, and even some animals that are pretty rare. The black-footed ferret, the swift fox, just to name a few. And I was going to ask you, Catherine, if you had spotted any of these fellas when you were there.
You know, I'll have to be honest, I didn't see one animal.
No?
No, but we went in the middle of the day, and, you know, I think most of the time animals tend to come out in the night, early morning, early night, and take a good old nap in the middle of the day.
So if you want to see the animals, you might want to go at night.
Yeah. Or early morning. You'd probably be good there, too. You know, most people who go to the Badlands, they go to the North Unit. It's actually divided into two areas, a North and a South Unit. But the South Unit is also interesting. That area is co-managed by the Oglala Lakota Nation. I hope I'm saying that right. And there are many sites on there that are really sacred in Native American culture. It's also the area where the ghost dances were performed back in the 1800s, which American Indians, or some American Indians believed would give them special powers in the battles that were going on with the U.S. government and the U.S. soldiers at the time, the battles for land.
Catherine was mentioning that the South Unit has a lot of sacred areas for the American Indians. Guides will often tell you that if you decide to hike there or drive through there, that you'll often need to ask for permission from the landowners in certain areas. But another thing that I thought was pretty unusual is that the South Unit area used to be a bombing range during World War II. So there's still unexploded missiles and bombs there.
And you were saying something about the park's website telling you about your cell phone might set them off.
Yeah, I was reading that. That was a little unreassuring.
Oh, that kind of scared me too. The other thing that's interesting about the Badlands, as we mentioned at the top of the program, is that they extend into North Dakota. And there, it's called the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And, you know, that's another place that you can visit. That park is not as well known as the one in South Dakota. They tend to get less visitors. But I've been told that you're more likely to see some wildlife. They have a lot of bison and a lot of elk there. Yeah, and it tends to have probably more vegetation than you would find in the one in South Dakota.
Another interesting fact about that, the reason that the park is called Theodore Roosevelt National Park is that U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt was very much influenced and inspired by the Badlands. He would visit there. That actually inspired him to create these conservation initiatives that he's famous for, and eventually the creation of the national park system. So
it was really fitting that they would name it after him.
that's the end. Just a little snapshot of the Badlands. They're pretty cool. They're not so bad. I just love making that joke. But if you'd like to learn more, we have a lot of content related to the Badlands. We have articles on Badlands National Park and Theodore Roosevelt National Park. So if you want some more information, check those out.
And we'll see you next time.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com and let us know what you think. Email travelpodcast@HowStuffWorks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.